I'm a little nervous. I did change the oil, but man, I don't want to break anything. This is pretty much the McLaren of the JDM car. All right, so she's up on the scales. Let's see what it weighs here. Let's see if Mazda is honest like McLaren is. Hey everybody, Brooks from Drag Times here. Welcome back to the channel. This video is a long time overdue. I know a lot of you have been seeing my videos and kind of seeing up on the lift here. Whoa, what is that RX-7 up there? I did pick up a 1993 Mazda RX-7 R1. I think it's pretty much a barn find. You're about to see what kind of condition this car in. Now, a little history on Drag Times. Drag Times was actually started with a Mazda RX-7 similar to this one. It was actually a base model, probably the lightest version they made way back when I was doing my first drag racing passes, and the Mazda RX-7 similar to this. And basically I was collecting times of RX-7s from around the world down the quarter mile, and I would take these and put them in an Excel spreadsheet and upload those to the internet. And after a while, people kept saying, hey, I want to add my Corvette, or I want to add my Eclipse or Mustang. And that sparked the start of Drag Times. So I registered dragtimes.com, learned database programming, how to program databases, upload them to the web, PHP, MySQL, and all that kind of stuff. Learned it all on my own, created the website, and that took off and did amazingly well. It enabled me to jumpstart a career in web programming, internet entrepreneurship, and Drag Times into a lot of different facets. And then as the web usage started to go down, I started the YouTube channel to follow along with the website. Let's get into the RX-7 R1 that I picked up and check it out. Here it is. This is vintage red. It is completely stock. If we take a look at the wheels, there's not even a ding on the wheels. There's definitely a couple of chip marks. I mean, this car's almost 30 years old. And I actually got this on eBay, believe it or not. These are going for Bring a Trailer upwards of $90,000. I saw a couple closed. They weren't even R1s, although they had less miles. But man, this car's really starting to make a comeback. Onto the rear of the car, it has the R1 spoiler, of course, and completely stock again. It's got the stock exhaust. I'm gonna start it up in a second. You can hear that it really doesn't sound like much. Now this car is powered by a 1.3 liter rotary engine. It's the 13B. It is twin turbo, sequential twin turbo. So the first turbo comes on low, and then both turbos come on about 3,500 RPM. It's known to have a little kind of a kick or a stumble when that happens, and then you can feel the extra power come on. Checking out the paint, I mean, obviously it's almost 30 years old. I don't know when it's been last waxed or taken care of, but this area actually feels a little bit smoother. Now I always like to do a little kind of water test to see what kind of condition the paint is in. Let's see what happens here. I'm gonna spray a little water on here. And look at that, the water slides off this part and is beading over here. Now, why would that be? Water all slick and not working well over here and beading up on this side. This car was in dire need of some love and care, and that's where Armor Shield comes into play. I actually applied some of the Armor Shield ceramic coating do-it-yourself product just to this part over here, and you could see what a difference it makes. I want to demonstrate for you. I will finish up the rest later, but they're having a sale for Labor Day, today through Monday, 30% off the entire store. I'm going to put a link down in the description. You can protect your car yourself. In just about an hour, you can ceramic coat your entire car yourself, save hundreds of dollars over having someone else do it for you. And this will protect your paint against bird dropping, all kinds of acid rain, UV rays, tree sap, etc. And wow, this is a really, really cool product. You've seen it on my channel before, so link down in the description. And I'm gonna actually ceramic coat the windshield, because the wipers are kind of old in this car, and when you ceramic coat your windshield, you don't even need to use your wipers. The water just glides right off the front. Link down in the description, 30% off now till Labor Day. Now I'll just take my cloth and just kind of, you can see right there how easily that dries off. And over here, it just kind of stays wet and doesn't come off at all. We'll go for a little drive at 0 to 60 and maybe quarter mile testing on this. I don't know. I'm a little nervous. I did change the oil. But man, I don't want to break anything. I know it's stock. It has 255 horsepower from the factory. And what made it really, really unique to the cars of this era was this was very lightweight. I'm gonna drop it on the scales and see, but Mazda says it weighs around 2,750 pounds. Now you compare that to the cars of this generation, which was the 3000 GT VR4, that thing was way heavier, probably close to like maybe 3,700 pounds. There was the Toyota Supra, much heavier, and there was the 300 ZX twin turbo, also much heavier. Those cars, of course, had more horsepower, but really couldn't compete with the nimbleness of this car. This was pretty much the McLaren of the JDM cars. You know, McLaren is known for being super lightweight, way lighter than any of its competitors, and that's what this car is about. It is actually a pretty small car when you get in it. I mean, it's just awesome to have this car back in the garage. All right, onto the inside. You got to check out how clean this car is. Now, the R1 is actually my favorite because it comes with suede seats. Now, this is 30 years old, and there is not a cut. There is nothing wrong with these seats at all. They're absolutely in like perfect condition, which is pretty amazing because a lot of these cars are pretty beat up, and you can see the sides. Usually this stuff is all peeling and so forth, but even the center console looks like it just came out of a time capsule. It's pretty amazing. Over here, let's check out on the passenger side. And again, look at the door panels. This car has 65,000 miles on it, and was actually in Washington State, where it's actually really dry. So I think that really helped out keeping the car in awesome condition. I mean, just look at the inside. This thing looks like it has like 15,000 miles on it. It's pretty amazing. You can flip up the seats. Now back here, you got two compartments where you can store things back here. Over there as well. Now this comes off as well. Let's open up the hatch and see what's back there. To open the hatch, we pull right here, and this will pop open. Even the struts are still working, pretty amazing. Now if you look at the back, the R1 doesn't have anything back here. The Touring would have this kind of big Bose stereo, but this is just completely open, a decent amount of storage. And of course, you can also take off this centerpiece to extend the storage into there. There's also a hidden strut bar right here that goes across. Inside here, we got some tire changing things as well. Let's check out the engine now. Let's check out the heart of the rotary Mazda RX-7. That's how we pop the hood. We'll come back around here and let's see what we got. So here we go, completely stock. Being the R1, it had this strut brace on here. The suspension is stock. You can see that the pipe is stock. This is the intercooler, the airbox, the battery, and then down here you can see, you can't really see, but there's like an intake which goes into the airbox, and then through here, and everything works. The AC is ice cold. I mean, it's a little dusty here. I got to clean up the engine bay, but I think once I clean up these black pieces, this thing's going to look brand new. One additional difference that the R1 had over the other cars, it has this front front lip here, and it also has two oil intercoolers, one on that side and one on this side. And if you can always tell by reaching in here, you can feel the extra oil intercooler up in here. All right, let's give the car a start up here. Jump in. We got the key, we'll put the seat back, and right in here, push the clutch in, give it a start. And there we go, 65,000 miles. AC's working. The only thing that doesn't work, and if there's any rotary people out there that know, not really rotary related, but the radio doesn't work. So I turn this on, it's just all staticky. I feel like the antenna is disconnected. Even though the antenna raises up in the back, I'm not getting any stations. So I want to keep it stock, but I also want to hear some music. So I'm thinking about either putting a portable Bluetooth speaker in here, just connected to my phone to get some tunes, or possibly, you know, either fixing the radio or going with an all-in-one unit right here to add some modern technology to the car. What do you guys think? Keep it stock, add some tunes, let me know in the comments. All right, so these cars were notorious back in the day for popping off boost hoses. I personally went through two engines in my old RX-7, and I used to actually work on cars. I completely removed the engine, put it back in, had diagrams of all the boost stuff. I mean, it is just crazy how this system works. This hose used to pop off all the time, and then the secondary turbo wouldn't come on, you get no boost, and the car would absolutely feel like a dog. But I've been driving this around for a couple months now, and it's been performing pretty well. I really have no idea how fast it is. Now, back in the day, I think it should run like high 13s or low 14s to the quarter mile at just over 100 miles an hour. I'm gonna take it out, let's go for a little drive. Maybe if there's some space, we can give a little test. All right, so taking it out for a drive. Again, it's pretty quiet. The shifting is very smooth. It actually feels pretty quick. I mean, you can definitely feel when that second turbo kicks in, and it feels great. I mean, there's a little bit of squeaking from the suspension. It's a little bumpy. I mean, with the shocks being this old, I mean, it could very well need some new shocks, or maybe some coilovers or something like that. So any RX-7 fanatics, maybe you could drop in the comments and let me know. Should I stick with a stock R1 suspension? Should I go for some coilovers, maybe drop it down a little bit? Still keeping the stock kind of look and everything. But man, I mean, there you go. We're going 80 miles an hour right there. It definitely feels good. But again, a little kind of bouncy. But again, this is the R1 suspension, and it's expected to be a little more rough and hardcore than either the base model, the Touring RX-7. I mean, wow, it's like a time capsule being back in this car after so many years. And it's such a small and nimble car. Back in the day, I think the ad for the RX-7 was lightning in the world of thunder or something like that. Maybe I can find that ad and put it up. It was like a silver RX-7 on there. And since I've had it out a few times, I've actually gotten quite a few thumbs up and look-bys. I mean, you can feel the turbo come on. It doesn't feel slow. I wonder what 0 to 60 is. What do you guys think 0 to 60 is? It's a little bright here, that's going this way in the RX-7. I'm guessing, I mean, depending on the launch and so forth, I think it's probably in the 5-second range. I can hear a little bit of a squeak. You probably can't hear it on the camera. For those of you who are wondering about my old RX-7, it was, I wouldn't say it was highly modified back then, but I had intercoolers. I left the sequential turbos. I did a tune, downpipes, mid-pipe, and exhaust. I think it made about 390 horsepower to the wheels, and I think the best quarter mile time was 11.2 at 120 something miles an hour. Here we go. See, there we go, quarter mile, 14.6. I did 3 runs. It started off at 15 flat, then I went to 14.6, then I went to 14.3. 14.3 at 97, almost 98 miles an hour. 0 to 60 was like 5.8. Not bad. And wasn't even like shifting very hard, and I was kind of like short shifting a little bit, being nice to it. I definitely don't want to blow anything up after my first kind of test on the car, but nevertheless, that's not bad. What do you guys think? 14.3 at 98. I definitely can do better. And I think I'll practice a little more. I did put some tires on the car, but I put the OEM size, 225/50/16. So definitely not a super aggressive tire, but with only 255 horsepower, 2,700 pounds. So they say, really doesn't matter much. I think let's get it up on the scales and actually see what the Mazda weighs. We do have a half a tank of fuel in there, so keep that in mind. Let's get her up and see. The scale set up, I actually, instead of jacking up the car, I bought these really cool short race ramps. So you just place the race ramps right in front of each wheel, and you put the scale in front of there. You hook up the scales to this box. As you can see, it shows we are all zeroed out, and let's see what the RX-7 weighs. All right, so she's up on the scales. Let's see what it weighs here. Let's see if Mazda is honest like McLaren is. Well, there you go. Wow, 2,761 pounds with a half a tank of gas. I don't know what size tank this has, but I think on a quarter tank of fuel, this car is weighing in at like 2,600 pounds and change. And also, let's not forget, there's a spare tire in there with a bunch of tools. So if we dump the spare tire and dump the tools, we are definitely in the 2,600 pound range. All right, so that's a wrap of bringing the Mazda RX-7 back to the Drag Times channel. Let me know what you guys think. Should I leave it completely stock, or should I modify it and go crazy on it? I'm thinking this is the car to keep stock. It just looks beautiful. You don't really have to mess with it, although it is tempting to get back to those old days of working on cars. And also, don't forget to pick up your ceramic coating from Armor Shield and Avalon King, 30% off through Labor Day. Link down in the description. As always, thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up, helps the video and the channel, and comment about the new RX-7 and what do you think we should do with it next. I'm thinking a JDM shootout. Maybe find another Supra, VR4, and 300ZX, and do some old school drag racing, drag time style. Thanks for watching.